In the heart of a roaring stadium, the crowd's thunderous cheers echoed against the towering walls, a pulsating rhythm that seemed to shake the very ground beneath their feet. The air crackled with anticipation, an electric current of excitement, fear, and wonder. All eyes were locked on the center of the ring, a modern coliseum where two warriors were about to etch their names into the annals of martial arts history. Donnie Yen and William Smith. The matchup was the stuff of legend. On one side stood Donnie Yen, a martial artist whose name resonated with elegance and ferocity in equal measure. His background in traditional Chinese martial arts, combined with his mastery of modern combat techniques, made him a well-rounded fighter. Yen's speed was his deadliest weapon, his punches a blur, his kicks a whirlwind. Yet, it wasn't just his physical prowess that set him apart. It was his mind, calm as still water, yet sharp as a dagger. He could read his opponent like a book, predicting their moves with uncanny precision. On the other side of the ring, William Smith towered like a granite statue brought to life. A powerhouse of muscle and might, Smith's fighting style was raw, explosive, and relentless. With a background in mixed martial arts and professional wrestling, he wielded brute strength as his primary weapon, but to label him as just a brawler would be a grave mistake. Smith had honed his craft over the years, blending grappling techniques with strategic strikes. His fists landed like sledgehammers, and a single blow could spell the end for anyone unlucky enough to stand in his way. The fight began with a cautious dance, both men circling each other, eyes locked in a silent conversation of combat. Yen moved like liquid, his footwork fluid and light, while Smith maintained a solid stance, a fortress waiting for the right moment to strike. The first exchange was a blur of motion, Yen slipping under Smith's thunderous right hook and retaliating with a lightning-fast kick to the ribs. The crowd erupted, but Smith barely flinched, a smirk tugging at the corner of his lips. Round after round, the battle unfolded like a beautifully violent ballet. Yen darted in and out, landing sharp, precise strikes. A jab here, a sidekick there, never staying still long enough for Smith to lock him into one of his bone-crushing holds. Smith, however, remained a constant threat. When he did manage to corner Yen, his punches came down like a storm, forcing the smaller fighter to retreat or risk being overpowered. But cracks began to show. While Smith's strength was undeniable, it became clear that his stamina was his Achilles heel. Every powerful swing drained his energy, every missed punch adding weight to his already laboring breath. Yen, on the other hand, seemed tireless, his training in endurance paying off. His movements remained crisp, his strikes as sharp in the final rounds as they were in the first. The turning point came in the penultimate round. Yen, noticing the slight lag in Smith's defense, began exploiting it with a series of rapid combinations. A flurry of punches to the body, a spin kick to the shoulder, and a final, devastating roundhouse kick to Smith's jaw sent the larger man staggering. The crowd gasped as Smith fell to one knee, his strength finally betrayed by his own exhaustion. Sensing his moment, Yen pressed forward. He didn't rely solely on brute force. He outthought Smith, using angles, feints, and superior agility. It was a masterclass in technique over raw power. When the final bell rang, there was no question about the winner. Donnie Yen stood victorious, not because he was stronger, but because he was smarter, faster, and more strategic. His ability to adapt, his relentless training, and his calm, calculating approach had overcome the raw strength and aggression of William Smith. The fight was more than just a clash of titans. It was a lesson in martial arts philosophy. Brains versus brawn, precision over power. And on that electrifying night, Donnie Yen proved that in the art of combat, skill and strategy will always have the final say.